Aaron, and MetroNews' Dave Allen.
Welcome into the 2 o'clock hour. It's the final hour. Metro News Midday powered by Salango Law. Visit salangolaw.com. Open line West Virginia coming up at the bottom of the hour. Nothing but your calls and text 1-800-765-TALK. Or you can text 304-TALK-304. It's Metro News Midday.
Metro News Midday is presented by Salango Law. SalangoLaw.com. Join in by calling 800-765-8255 or text 304-TALK-304. Let's go live to downtown Charleston. Here's Dave Allen.
Thursday edition of the show. It is Metro News Midday powered by Salango Law. Visit salangolaw.com. Ryan Nicholson, Stephanie Pauly, our producers today on this Thursday, getting closer and closer to the weekend. 1-800-765-TALK is the phone number. Text 304-TALK-304. We'll start getting your phone calls and texts at the bottom of the hour. I want to welcome into the show now State Democratic Party Chair and Delegate from here in Kanawha County, where we are located today, Mike Pushkin. Good afternoon, sir. Welcome to the show.
Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm going to give you a chance to go ahead and get that obligatory cheer for your New York Knicks in there.
Obligatory. I'm tired because I was up so late. Watching the greatest comeback in the history of the NBA Finals, where I'm a big Knicks fan, and I was with them when they weren't any good.
I have no doubt.
I've been rooting for them for a long time.
You're also a Jets fan, too.
That's true. So. That shows I am loyal. If nothing else, I am loyal.
Loyal, if not smart. You know, you got that going.
When it pays off, that makes it that much better when your team's poised to win the championship.
People for staying by their team.
And it's not over yet. I mean, anything could happen, but being up 3-1 feels pretty good. And for the life of me, I mean, look, the Knicks did not play a great game last night, but we played. We just kept playing. They kept playing, and they won by 1 point. But what I don't understand, and I'm not a basketball expert, but with 10 seconds left on the clock and the San Antonio Spurs were up by 1 point, why did that guy take the shot? He could have just dribbled.
Yeah.
Right, and then he went. He took the shot. It got blocked, and then the Knicks got the ball back, and the rest is history.
And and I'm not saying it is, Mike, but it's things like that make people think, I don't know about sports. You know, I don't know about it.
I think I'll tell you what it was. It was the Spurs showing their youth and inexperience.
Yeah, well, I mean, I want to hope that's what it is as a sports fan, but I mean.
I guess, ask the president. He still doesn't accept election results, but I accept the results of sporting events, unless it's professional wrestling.
Okay. Hey, easy now.
Sorry. But as a wrestling fan, you've got, if you want to call sports scripted, I think you should take a look inward.
Wrestling is real, life is fake. Just keep that in mind. You can't deny that. All right. This past weekend, you were renamed, I guess is the correct term.
Reelected.
Reelected
by the executive committee. Yes.
Democratic Party. And we interviewed you prior to Saturday. We interviewed Teresa Torvesa prior to Saturday as well. And in the end, the party decided to keep you around for a little bit. Talk about it.
Incredibly grateful to the State Democratic Executive Committee that chose to reelect me, and that's the entire committee, and not just those that supported me, but the entire committee. I'm incredibly humbled and grateful, and ready to work with folks who are wanting to work together to elect Democrats, because that's why we are in this.
And you said
we feel that the state would be better served if we would elect more Democrats, and that's what we plan to do.
And you said it when we interviewed you prior to that there was no ill will between you and Teresa Torvesa, or the ones that did not necessarily back you, because you thought, and I agree with you. I mean, I think sometimes things like this are good, to kind of take an accounting of where we are, and is this the road we want to continue on? And obviously the party said this is the road we want to continue on.
This was when we do it. We have these reorganizational meetings every 4 years, and if there's going to be a challenge, this is when it is. And I believe I said when I was on the local show earlier in the week, it's easy to hear, the praise and the compliments and stuff like that, but it makes me a better chair to hear the constructive criticism and learn from that and address some of the issues that the other side had, address them going forward, and that makes us for a stronger party, and it helps me do my job better.
So another county flipped from Democrat to Republican, Boone County. That announcement coming out yesterday, Boone County, which is And I talked to GOP Party Chair Josh Holstein last hour, and he says that they believe that in recorded history of Boone County that has never happened before. It is now a Republican county down there. So you lost, not you personally, but the Democratic Party lost another one.
I would imagine during Reconstruction it was probably a Republican. Well, I think Josh maybe should pick up a history book, but that's a whole other issue. Look, how people register and how people vote, and whether or not they turn out to vote is a big difference, and that's what matters. What we saw in the last primary is that Democrats came out to vote in every county. We drove Democratic turnout. A lot of that had to do with our candidate recruitment plan, where we put candidates up and down the ballot to give Democrats a reason. Democrats and independents who were allowed to vote in our primary gave them a reason to come out and vote. Even down there in Chair Holstein's district, we have Jennifer Bryant, who is an excellent candidate, who's going to be giving Josh Holstein a run for his money here this fall. But because we had this candidate recruitment effort, and because we were driving the turnout, and also because you have the TV on here, when you look at the things that the president is doing, saying he loves inflation, and he did say that he's going to strike Iran, and he's not going to strike Iran. Meanwhile, the price at the pump keeps going up. People are ticked off, and they're ready for a change, and that's what drove Democratic turnout. Plus, we gave people something to vote for by filling their ballots up and down the ticket. And if you look at the results on a statewide level, we flipped the West Virginia Supreme Court, and we elected Jim Douglas to a statewide office for a 10-year term on the Intermediate Court of Appeals. So the results speak for themselves. So yeah, would we rather have more registered Democrats? Of course, and we're going to be working on that. We will be doing concerted voter registration drives, throughout the summer. But what's important is who turns out to vote.
Talking again with State Democratic Party Chair and Delegate Mike Pushkin. So are you a UFC guy? Do you watch UFC at all?
Not at all.
I'm not either.
I'm a traditional sports fan. I like basketball and football and baseball and hockey occasionally.
Okay.
Really, football's my sport.
Well, they're going to have the UFC fight, I guess,
I like
Sunday.
boxing.
Yeah. But boxing just ain't what it used to be back when we were growing, in my opinion. But UFC, 4,000 spectators are expected to show up for this UFC fight on the White House grounds.
And how much is the president profiting off of this?
Yeah, I don't know. You tell me.
I don't know. But
is
I'm
he
sure he
profiting?
is.
Yeah.
If he's doing it, he's profiting off of it.
Did you, I want to go national here for a moment because I like to pick your brain on some things. And I talked about it earlier this week, the exchange on Meet the Press on Sunday between Kristen Welker and President Trump. I told the listeners before, I had the TV on Sunday, but really wasn't paying attention to it. Didn't even know that the president was going to be on until I heard her say, "My sit down with President Trump." And I still didn't think much about it. And I was reading or something. And then all of a sudden I hear this, thought I was watching Jerry Springer for a moment. I just had this yelling back. I was like, my God, this is happening. This is our president arguing with somebody on national television like this. And look, you can, in my opinion, you can argue, you can say that Kristen Welker is an unfair journalist, which I strongly disagree with. You can say she was out of line, he was out of line, whatever. It's not becoming of the office of the president, in my opinion, of the United States to behaving that way, no matter who the president is. I mean, Barack Obama would not have done that. Ronald Reagan would not have done that. Go up and down, the aisle.
I don't know if a president in American history would ever act like that.
I would agree with that.
And sully the office of the presidency the way this president has. And maybe we can ask our resident historian, Chair Holstein, about that, see if he knows of any presidents in American history that have acted like that, especially on national television. But no, it was like Jerry Springer. The difference, he didn't have Steve rushing out to break up the fight. And all she was doing was asking for evidence, saying you have no evidence of this. And when faced with that, and it seems to be a pattern, it's especially when it's a female reporter questioning him and saying you don't have any evidence, he gets very defensive and he gets irate and aggressive. And it's unbecoming of the office, but unfortunately, it's not surprising to anybody. This is what people expect of this president.
Well, and I will say this is one of the reasons why some people might like President Trump, because, how many times have you heard he tells it like it is about President? He's a real person. Well, I don't know a whole lot of real people that are going to act that way, to be honest with you, but that's one of the, and
I think fewer and fewer people are liking him.
Outside West Virginia.
And the polls show that.
You're right.
I think that it's even having an effect here as well.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I think
the polling show that he is losing favorability by the droves. Mm-hmm. And every time you fill up your tank, probably like him even less.
And I think that there's two, and you mentioned earlier, Mike, I think there's two things working against Donald Trump right now. Number one is the unpopular war in Iran. Nobody, including the two people sitting in this room, thinks that the world is a better place if Iran has nukes. We both can agree on that. Mm-hmm. All right. But this is a president who ran on no new wars, no forever wars, I think is what he called. And this is a president that also went in and said prices are going to come down day one. Mm-hmm. And they have not.
And those things go hand in hand. If you remember, it was just like about a year ago that there was that strike on the facility in Iran, and the president claimed that we set them back years on their nuclear program. But then all of a sudden they're 2 weeks away from it again. So he has a credibility issue there because he keeps saying the same things. It doesn't really add up. And this has driven inflation. When the cost of fuel goes up, the cost of getting the products to the market goes up, and that causes everything to go up. And he did not address inflation. He has made it worse. And then there was an interview, I think it was yesterday, when asked about it. His response was that he loves inflation. I don't love inflation. You don't love inflation.
That's exactly what he
in their
said.
right mind, except an out-of-touch billionaire like Donald Trump, who doesn't really care how much things cost.
And before anybody says that it was fake news or whatever, that was the exact wording out of his mouth. That's exactly what he said was, I love inflation. All right, I want to bring it back to West Virginia here for a moment. Summer 2026, traditionally speaking, old school politicians would say, well, the campaign gets underway Labor Day. You know that's not true because campaigns never effectively end in the modern day election cycle. What's the summer look like for you as you're working with your Democratic folks across the state that you're trying to get into office?
Well, starting this week, in conjunction with the House Democrats here in West Virginia, and we're doing an in-person candidate training here in Charleston. The different counties right now are also going through their reorganizational meetings as well. So once we get our county officers in place, it'll be a lot of working with our county committees and other allied groups on some voter registration drives, which is always a big thing to do during the summer, as you have all these outdoor events to be set up to register voters. And mainly just keep working with our candidates so they have the best resources and they're best trained to take the fight to the Republicans in the fall.
Do you foresee, as we head into the general election come November, as we get closer to the election, let's say after September sometime, do you see a lot of money pouring in here, like we saw in the last elections? I mean, because we saw so much money spent on the Republican side, do you see a lot of outside money coming in to support Democratic candidates or Republican candidates?
Yeah, that seems like the outside money tends to support. I mean, they spend a lot on each other. They, being the Republicans, spend a whole lot on each other during the primary. So there's no reason to believe they're not going to spend it against us. Mm-hmm. And you just got to look at what the motives are behind these out of state groups with people who have never set foot in this state. Why are they going to be spending millions of dollars to elect people? And it's because they're buying favor amongst politicians in this state, and people need to see through that. There's a reason why they would want these people in office. It's because they're going to do their bidding, whether it means passing another bill like 2014, House Bill 2014, that strips away localities, strips away counties and municipalities from having any kind of local control to regulate data centers that the Republican Party has just rolled out the red carpet for in this state without any kind of local control. Those are the types of folks that are pumping money into this state because they have something to gain from it. And it's not good for the people of West Virginia.
Talking again with State Democratic Party Chair and Delegate Mike Pushkin. And on the data center issue, by the way, it'll give me a chance to plug Hoppy's State of Mind's 3-part series, and he's taken 3 people from 3 completely different walks of life, 100% pro data center, one more in the middle, one anti data center, and the second one of that 3-part series will drop tonight on Metro News Television at 7:30. Some of the people that I've heard talk about data centers, Mike, have said just what you said. It's, look, we're not necessarily against them. We all use these phones. We all use Google. I'm not a big AI person, okay, but some people are. But they're a little bit more upset because of that bill that you mentioned that in many cases does not give those in those communities a voice, so to speak. And that's what I've heard a lot of people that I've had on this show. And I've tried to have people that are pro and anti on this show. And some of the ones that were anti are saying, look, we're not necessarily anti-data centers. We just don't like the lack of local control.
That's our biggest issue with it is the lack of local control. Especially if these have the potential of causing people's utility rates to go up. West Virginia's already seen the steepest increases of any other state, and the people here just can't afford it. And then to push these things into residential areas without any kind of buy-in from the community, that's a problem. And we just look at who's benefiting from this and who it's really hurting. So, yeah, I think that if we're able to restore local control like every other state does. Like I was just up in Rhode Island for meetings. I looked into their laws regarding data centers, and they allow for local control. Mm-hmm. And that's, I believe, why Governor Morrissey and Speaker Hanshaw pushed this bill through, where they stripped away all the regulation there and said there won't be we're going to have it uniform throughout the state, which means no counties, no municipalities, the people have absolutely no say-so in this. It's really bad for people when it's only good for these out-of-state corporations, or it might be good for you if you're the Speaker of the House and you're selling them the property that it's going to be located on, or if you're working for them, as he is for two of the data centers. But it's not good for most of us.
I want to ask you before we let you go about the gas tax. There have been people, and this has kind of been a divisive discussion within the Republican Party, because there have been those that have said, look, we need to suspend the gas tax. There's been people from organizations like the Contractors Association that have come out and said, we got a lot of projects going. This would actually end up hurting us. Do you have an opinion?
We need to give people some relief right now. Because no fault of their own, because of this reckless president, we are seeing gas prices just really go through the roof. And we should be able to do whatever is within our power as elected officials here in the state to how to help the people that we represent. And one thing that we can do is suspend the gas tax temporarily until the prices go back down. And the House Democrats have called for this, and now the Treasurer, Larry Pack, is calling for it. We're hearing some folks on the other side of the aisle agree with the House Democrats on this, but we need to get it done.
So Democratic Party Chair and Delegate Mike Pushkin, just for your sake, generally speaking, I support teams in the southern part of the country, and I consider Texas to be in the southern part of the country, maybe because I'm a Cowboys fan.
Well, it is in the southern part of the country.
All right, however,
literally,
just for you,
yes,
I'm cheering for the Knicks.
That's right. Be on the right side of history. Go Knicks.
All right.
Hey, when I leave here, I just want to let you know, I'm headed up to Sissonville to stand in solidarity with my sisters and brothers of the Teamsters Local 175, who are on strike up at the beverage marketplace. I'm headed there right now. I'm running late, but that's why I wanted to stop by and talk to you.
Heading to the picket line.
But I am headed to the picket line right now, and I'm definitely on standing in solidarity with them.
All right. Delegate and State Democratic Party Chair Mike Pushkin, appreciate you being here. 2:24. We'll take a break and come back after this.